A story of the clash of the empire spanning decades. Kāḷi, a hound, a warrior, and the battlefield. (907 to 910) Common Era. 907 Common Era. Maṇalera, Raśṭrakūṭa capital Karnataka, southern India. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long menacing shadows across the wind-swept plains of Maṇalera. Against this dusty backdrop, a lone speck materialized on the horizon, growing larger with each passing moment. As the speck resolved itself into a rider on horseback, then another and another, tension crackled in the air. The guards on the eastern ramparts of the Maṇalera fortress held their breath, their hands tightening on their spears. Dusk deepened, cloaking the riders in shadows, making it impossible to discern their intentions. Were they friend or foe? Messengers bearing news or exiled renegades from a neighboring Vengi Chalukya seeking shelter? The lead rider, towering young, lean but strong figure, draped in a dark cloak, raised a hand in a gesture of peace. But the gesture did little to ease the tension. The guards exchanged anxious glances, their minds racing with possibilities. "Hold!" boomed the captain of the guard, his voice echoing across the vast emptiness. "Identify yourselves or face the consequences." The silence stretched, thick and heavy, broken only by the snorting of the horses and the rustling of the wind. Then, in a voice as deep and gravelly as the stones of the fortress itself, the lead rider spoke. "I am the grandson of the Raśṭrakūṭa emperor. My mother is the queen of Chola kingdom. These are my personal guards who have taken life-threatening risks to escort me all the way across the borders," replied the young man, displaying his royal ring. A hush fell over the courtyard as the young man's words echoed through the air. The guards, gruff and weathered veterans, straightened their backs, a flicker of pride momentarily eclipsing their usual stoicism. The captain, a grizzled man with a scar etching a deep line across his face, stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as they examined the royal ring. The tiger rendered in exquisite detail, its fangs bared in a fearsome snarl, seemed to leap from the gold, a potent symbol of power and legacy. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the courtyard crackled with intrigue and speculation. The weight of history pressed down, the legends of the mighty Chola empire stirring in the minds of even the most stoic sentinels. The captain, ever cautious, held out his hand for closer inspection. He traced the outline of the tiger with callous fingers, his gaze piercing as he met the young man's eyes. "These are bold claims, young one," he rumbled, his voice heavy with doubt. "Many a pretender has adorned himself with stolen sigils. Show us more proof than a ring. Convince us of your lineage, and only then will you find the hospitality you seek." The captain's grip on his spear tightened. He knew that appearances could be deceiving, but something in the rider's voice, a hint of wariness perhaps, gave him pause. "Open the gates," he finally ordered, his voice gruff but resolute. "But keep your weapons close. We will have a look at these visitors before we offer them hospitality." The heavy oak gates creaked open, revealing a narrow passage into the dimly lit interior of the fortress. The horsemen entered, their horses snorting and stamping their hooves on the cobblestones. The guards eyed them warily, their senses on high alert. The corridors of the Raśṭrakūṭa fort stimulated as dusk threw its inky cloak over the land. Flickering torches cast dancing shadows on the worn stone walls as Prince Indra, the heir to the mighty Raśṭrakūṭa empire, strode through with his retinue. The air crackled with a subtle tension, a coiled spring of vigilance ready to release at a moment's notice. Indra, a young man whose regal bearing belied his years, cut a striking figure. As they moved deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, the shadows seemed to thicken, pressing in like unseen predators. Indra's eyes, as sharp as a khanda strapped through his tide, scanned every corner, every alcove. His presence, though silent, spoke volumes, a predator assessing its domain, a leader ensuring the safety of his flock. The flicker of torchlight cast fleeting glimpses of the fort's grandeur, ornately carved pillars reaching towards unseen heights, murals depicting ancient victories, whispering tales of glory and conquest. But tonight, the prince's gaze was not drawn to these past glories. He was the vigilant eye protecting the future. Prince Indra's pulse quickened as the Eastern Gate captain's words sliced through the anticipation of the corridor. A Chola prince in his fort just after dusk? Intrigue prickled his skin, laced with curious warmth. Indra's steps turned swift, weaving through the maze of the torchlit passages. As he emerged into the courtyard, the moonlight caught a familiar figure, tall, lean, with the unmistakable Chola grace in his stride. But time had etched its lines on his face, turning the boyish mischief into a tempered strength. Indra's greeting was genuine, his voice warm, the formality a thin veil over the kinship that bloomed in his heart. Kannaradeva, he echoed, the name tasting rich on his tongue like a forgotten song. Your presence brightens up not just my evening but this entire fort. A smile flickered across Kannaradeva's face, lighting up the shadows under his eyes. Indra, he replied, his voice a deep rumble. Seeing you after years feels like the sun breaking through monsoon clouds. The exchange, brief as it was, crackled with unspoken history, shared memories of sun-drenched summers spent hunting in the kingdom's heart, whispered secrets under starlit skies. Captain, Indra addressed the gatekeeper, his voice firm yet laced with a hint of amusement. You have indeed done your duty, but tonight it is family, not politics, that guides me. Consider yourself relieved from your watch. I shall personally escort the Chola prince to the emperor's quarters. Take care of Kannaradeva's guardsmen. There was a murmur among the guards, a quiet ripple of curiosity and understanding. As they set off through the moonlit courtyard, their shadows stretching long and menacing, Indra couldn't help but wonder what winds had brought Kannaradeva to his doorstep. Was it a political chess move, a plea for alliance, or simply the pull of family across the battlefield? The night hummed with unspoken possibilities, and Indra, the prince of the Raśṭrakūṭas, was ready to play his part. The novel is published on Amazon Kindle by the name Kāḷi, a hound, a warrior, and a battlefield. The link is provided in the description for purchase.